Okay, now before I do it on the board, I want you to think about it. There are, just like with question 4, there's 2 completely different ways you could approach it. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to have a go on this at your own, right? Don't look at the person next to you for the purpose of trying to get a different answer. See if, doing it independently, you get a different approach. Because I can see 2 completely different approaches, which would both work just fine, just like here. But I'll let you try and work out which one you would pick. Now this is really interesting. Because I've seen, do you remember I said to you, there's more than one way to solve this? Yeah. Okay. And I have seen plenty of different ways around the room, okay? Regardless of which way you go about it, okay? All of you've gotten down to a final line, like this, okay? Now some of you, for instance, I've seen you say, okay, minds are working, n equals, and now you get a number. Now for instance, one of the answers that I have seen is n equals 5. I've seen that answer a couple of times around the room, okay? Now here's the great thing about equations, okay? There's never any doubt. You never have to be unsure whether you have the answer or not, because if you have got the right answer, if it's the solution, you can take it back to where you started and you can plug it in and you can see if the key unlocks, right? So it's a little bit like, you know, you're sifting through this pile of keys and you're like, aha, I found it, okay? Well, you don't need to guess whether you found the right key, you just stick it in the door and see if it opens. Okay, so watch. I'll take n equals 5, sorry, I still want this color, and I'll pop it up here in the left-hand side, okay? Watch what happens. I'm going to get, I'll actually say LHS for left-hand side, okay? Stay with me, stay with me. I'm gonna put in 5 times 3. Now I'm substituting in 5 everywhere I see n. So I see an n, so I'm gonna write 5. Minus 1. Okay, order of operations. I've got times here and subtraction. Which one do I do first? Times, exactly, right? So I'm going to get 15 minus 1. 15 minus 1 is? 14. 5 times 14, if I'm doing it right, I think that's 70. Right? Now, what was I expecting? I was expecting 80, and I didn't get 80. I'll tell you what that means. It means n equals 5 is not the solution.
N equals 8.
Right? It means I took the key and I wiggled around and it didn't open. Right? Now I can try another number. I can try n equals 8.
Yes.
Right? I'll chuck it in. I'll go 5. 3 times 8 minus 1. Again, I'll do the multiplication first. That's going to be 3 times 8 is 24. Take away 1. 24 take away 1 is just 23.
No, wait, why are you going 8?
You told me to put in 8, so I put in 8.
No, you did. Wait, no, isn't it 5 times 3, and then you go 5 times...
Nah, look at the brackets. Look at the brackets. You've got to know your order operations really well.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you got to do what's in the brackets first. Okay, I'm not finished yet. Let's have a look. 5 times 23, I think that's 115. It's still not the answer I was expecting. Alright, so, what is the real answer?
5.6. History.
I'll show you.
5.6.
Now,
I got 5.6. Yes, right. I got 5.
Let's give this a go. Now, the way that I've seen a lot of people have been doing it is you're very good at expanding brackets. So we take this thing and we expand it, alright? So if I get rid of the brackets, okay, now I'm going to get 5 times 3n, that's 15n, okay? Then I've got to do 5 times the minus 1, so I get minus 5. Is that okay? Alright, okay. Good, now, what do I do to this? Now I'm in the same position I was over here. Okay, we saw that it was better to subtract things first, so I'm going to give that a go.
Oh, it's a fraction.
5 over 2 over 3.
15n equals, now if what do I do to both sides here?
Times.
Minus 5.
Take away the 5s.
Now, I've got a minus 5 here,
Minus 5.
right? Maybe I'll write this in.
You add from 2.
To get the opposite of subtraction, I have to add. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, can you see that? Right? So the 5s on this side are going to cancel, which leaves me that 15n, and you're going to get 85 on that side.
5 over 5.
Okay,
2 over 3.
now I just want the n on its own. So I'll divide by 15. Are we finished?
No.
We can do a bit better than this, can't we? What can we do to this? I can simplify. How will I do it?
You just put in the calculator.
The way I'm going to do it is I can divide the top and the bottom by 5. That's the common factor. Okay? Now it's easy to do the bottom. That's 3. Top's a bit harder.
17.
It's 17.
Yeah. It could keep going.
17 over 3. Do they have a common factor?
5.
1.
The highest common factor they have is just 1. The reason why I know is because both of them, 17 and 3, they're both prime numbers. No factors except for one of themselves. So you're done. N equals 17 on 3.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Like,
Okay. Now I can try it out by putting it back in here, and it'll work. I'll get 80. Come in. Okay, now, last thing before I let you go, okay? Because this is the hardest kind of question you're going to look at.
So is this 6E?
This is, yeah, I said there was a different way to do it. There was not just this way, there's another way, and I think it's better.
Yeah.
The first step I had was I expanded these brackets. That's how I got to this line.
That means I'm right. Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Wait, it's 5.6.
That's what I said the first time.
It's not 5.6. It's
But
not.
if you click the SD thing, it becomes 5.6.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not. No. You know why I know? Because if you're dividing by 3,
No, but it's 5.6. I just made it to like one day.
but it's not. It'd be 5.7 if you went to one decimal place.
5 over 2 over 3.
So,
5 and 2/3, I think is what you mean to say.
so in the book,
Which is very different from 5.6.
in the book it says 1 over 1/8.
Are you looking at the answers?
I was just
Pretty sure you're looking at another question.
Yeah, you are.
6G 4E, right?
It's 6E.
Oh, 6E. Yeah, it says 5.
5 and 2/3?
Yeah, 5 and 2/3.
That's 5 and 2/3.
Oh, that's 5 and 2/3.
I totally
AK
called it.
5.6.
Well done. You did call it.
Yeah,
Okay, now when you guys are ready, I'll show you the fast way to do it.
show us the fast way to do it.
Okay. Now the reason why it'll get you the right answer, but it's not as good, is because when you expand, you make numbers bigger. You're multiplying things. You've got 5 times 3, 5 times -1, and that's why you end up with these numbers, okay? There's a much quicker way to do this, okay?
Yeah.
Instead of multiplying through, I'm going to divide. Now the reason why dividing is a better way is because look at these numbers here. 5 and 80, right? 80 is divisible by 5. How can you tell it's divisible by 5?
It's in a 0.
It ends in a 0, exactly right. Any number that ends in a 0 or a 5 is divisible by 5. So instead of multiplying out, I'm going to divide, right? Watch what happens. I divide the left-hand side, you just get what's in the brackets. What is 80 divided by 5? Well, you told me 85 divided by 5 is 17. This is 5 less, so it's 16.
Yep, you're right.
Alright, now what? I need to add 1 to both sides because I've got to subtract 1 there. So you add 1 to both sides. Okay, so now I have 3n equals 17, and then you just divide. It's much quicker. The numbers are smaller, it's a better way to do it. Okay, just like here, you can see there's often one method that's clearly faster than the other. And in the same way, this method's faster because your numbers are smaller. Yeah. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, if you're at like 5.7 in the test, would that be right or wrong?
Wrong.
And
You're wrong.
Why?
The way that I would say that 5.7 is right is I would ask you to tell me this to 1 decimal place. And that would be 5.7 to 1 decimal place, but it's not 5.7.
Why?
Well, 5.7, right? That's 5 and 7/10. Whereas this answer is 5 and 2/3. No, I mean, don't worry about the 5s for a second. You're telling me that 7/10 equals 2/3? I mean, you can believe that if you want, just don't do my accounts for me because I wouldn't trust you with my money, okay? So, 5.7 is not the answer. If you approximated, it would be, but nowhere were we asked to approximate. Okay?